So I, 25 female, usually work from home and frequently babysit my brothers, 31, and sister-in-law's kids. They have 3 kids, all between the ages of a young child to pre-tween. My brother has a rather demanding job that I won't be revealing here as I don't think he'd want me to, and his wife is a nurse, so frequently they'll need me to babysit for them, and usually it's fine. My brother contacted me a few days ago and asked if I could babysit his kids for the upcoming weekend, as he and his wife would be 2 states away. Usually I would agree, but I planned a trip with some friends to go to NYC, clear across the country from us, for a few days. I told him such, but he got upset and told me that my vacation could wait because whatever it is he had to go to was work-related and extremely important, and that his wife was caring for her mother, who had a stroke recently. I told him that I wouldn't be canceling my plans as I needed a break from work, and he blew up and started yelling about how I shouldn't be tired because I sit at home all day and don't have any kids, at which point I just hung up on him after telling him no once again. Fast forward to my trip, and I'm hanging out at the hotel with my girlfriends. I checked my phone and saw a notification from 2 hours ago that there was movement detected at my front door. I checked my camera, and I'm just entirely floored. On my front porch were his kids, who had been sitting there unsupervised for 2 hours. Of course, I flipped out and called my brother, screaming at him about this, and asked where he was and why he would just leave them there when he knew I wouldn't be there. He then freaks out at me because I'm not at home, where I was supposed to be. No, I wasn't. I told him I wouldn't be, and tells me that I've left his kids in a dangerous situation because he's 2 cities away from home. It turns out that after I hung up on him, he decided he would call my bluff and drop them off anyway. Then he just left without even checking if I was even home. Now I'm furious and worried sick about my nieces. So without anyone any of us could call to take care of them, I called the police and informed them of the situation and that there was no one in the city to take care of them. Then I called my sister-in-law to tell her that I had called the police, and turns out she had no idea I wouldn't be there because my brother lied to her. Of course she's furious at him, and my brother is spamming me with text that I'm going to get his kids taken away, and his wife won't talk to him. Overall, I'm just angry and just as confused as to what was going on in his head when he decided to just leave 3 kids, all under the age of 8, all alone and leave the city. Am I the idiot for reporting my brother? Not the idiot. Your brother's actions were so dangerous, reckless, spiteful, and idiotic. He was playing chicken with you, with his children's welfare. Father of the Year. No way should anyone ever just drop their kids off at the doorstep and leave. I wouldn't even do that for adult friends at their own houses. I always hang around to ensure they get inside. I feel bad for you and your sister-in-law that you may also have to deal with any fallout, but your brother absolutely needed a wake-up call from the cops. I would so kick my SO to the curb if he did this, so I could keep my kids. I wouldn't be losing them because he's a horrible parent. You did right by calling for help since no one was around. Please remember you were put in a difficult situation, and you handled it well. Glad your sister-in-law is mad at him as well. These poor kids. He fears losing his kids, and his wife isn't speaking with him? He deserves it. You did what you had to do to protect those children. You were clear about not being available for the kids, and you even told him you wouldn't be in the state, yet he chose to drop them off anyways? Disgusting. Don't agree to babysit anymore. He clearly thinks they're not his responsibility, and he needs to understand that his children are his responsibility, no matter what. My sister Emma, 32, is getting married next year. She started dating her fiancé in college, so this has been a long time coming for her. Meanwhile, I, 28 male, got married a couple of months ago after 1 year of dating plus 1 year of being engaged. Emma was bitter when I got engaged, and she hasn't reached that milestone yet, but there was nothing I could do about that. Emma asked my wife, Kate, 25, to be a bridesmaid. They aren't that close, but it was a nice gesture. Kate was shocked but said yes. This weekend, while at our mom's house, Emma talked about how all her friends are having kids and how she can't wait. I told her same here and let her know that Kate and I plan to start trying soon. She then goes, wait. I hope by soon you mean after my wedding. To which I laughed, thinking she was joking, and I was like, no, I mean soon. Emma freaked out and said that if I was going to do the big wedding before her despite being 4 years younger, the least I could do was not be pregnant at her wedding. Again, I thought surely she must not be serious and told her, I don't know how long it'll take, but there is a high likelihood of Kate being pregnant at her wedding. It's just what it is. Assuming no complications and no infertility on either side, we don't expect there to be. Emma was really upset and said she wouldn't have asked Kate to be a bridesmaid if she knew she might be showing. I said I'm sure Kate would be fine with stepping down from the wedding party, no big deal. Confirmed with Kate, she's fine and not offended, but Emma's still mad at us. It felt ridiculous to me, but my female friend said, you're right, that's unreasonable, but I get what Emma feels. So, are we in the wrong? Not the idiot. That was ludicrous. She's absolutely delusional. Side note, they do make maternity bridal party gowns. This sounds like a headache, and you and your spouse would be better off as guests. She's a bridezilla, and it's insane. Brides don't get to dictate the lifestyle or life choices of the people in their parties. The fact that she's trying to do so is laughable. And your female friend is a little out there too. I don't get how Emma feels. I'm usually a firm believer that you're allowed to feel what you feel, but this is a freaking stretch. You can't get engaged first? I'm the oldest? You can't get married first? I'm the oldest? You can't get pregnant first? I'm the oldest. Those types of arguments make no sense, and it's ludicrous to try and justify them. Heck, even if I can understand the emotion of jealousy and how it applies to this situation, it's frickin' jealousy. Your own jealousy is always on you to handle. First, you shut up about it. Literally, bite your tongue if you have to, and then you find a way to deal with it without negatively affecting others. Finally, go get some therapy if it's as all-consuming as this. My 19th female, mom died of cancer when I was almost 5. Her passing devastated my dad. I know he loved her more than anything, and losing her and then raising a child alone was hard. He always made sure to preserve her memory, though. He'd tell stories and show me pictures and videos, take me to visit her family as often as we could, and we still leave fresh flowers at her grave every Saturday morning. He's always tried to honor her as best he can. For 14 years, my father has never even glanced at another woman. I didn't ever bring up dating to him because I've never lost my spouse. I don't know what it's like to love someone who isn't here anymore, but I also didn't want him to think or believe that he wasn't allowed to move on. I know he met someone about 6 months ago. She works with him, and they're just friends, but she makes him happier than I've seen him in years. I caught him smiling at his phone a while back and saw that he'd been texting her. They're being flirty with each other. I subtly let him know that I would never be mad at him for moving on, and that none of us deserves to live without love. That must have helped him gain the confidence to ask her out, because he has a date on Friday. He doesn't know that I know it's a date, but it was. Somehow my maternal grandmother found out about it, and she called me to ask what was going on with him and this woman. I said that it was Dad's business, and that as far as I knew, the woman was only a coworker and friend. Then my grandma started saying that it was wrong for my dad to even think about dating because he'd taken vows when he married my mother, and those vows should have been honored even in death. I said very gently that it's been 14 years since Mom died, and that she wouldn't have wanted my dad to live and die alone with only her memory to keep him company. Grandma said that I just didn't understand, and it was horrible for my dad to want to move on from his wife. Finally, I told her that if she's still mourning my mom, that's fine, but you can't expect the rest of us to forever put our lives on hold for a woman who isn't here anymore. I know that it really upset her because she still hasn't texted or called me back since hanging up. She hasn't told my dad how she feels. I'm still hoping he won't find out about it because I don't want to mess up this date for him. I know he should be allowed to move on, but I don't know if I was wrong to be so blunt with my grandmother. Not the idiot. It was inappropriate for your grandmother to try to tell you what your father's doing is wrong. So however blunt you might have been, although it doesn't sound blunt at all, she would still be in the wrong. She may need time to process how you and your father's relationship with her might change if he does start dating someone else more seriously, but that's for her to deal with. It's clear your grandmother's still mourning her daughter, but your grandmother's grief is not your father's burden to carry. It's been 14 years, And I'm sure your father still loved her for every single one of those. But that love and those past vows he made with her do not mean he isn't allowed to move on. You're a good daughter for gently encouraging him to continue his life and defending him to your grandmother. Try not to be too hard on yourself for what you told her. I don't think your words were too blunt at all. I, 26 male, have not spoken to my brother, 27, in 2 years. This is because I cut him off, and now he's dead to me. The reason? He slept with my long-term girlfriend at the time, Amy, 26, who I had been with for 10 years at that point, so from the ages of 14. We were living together, talking about marriage, and they were carrying on behind my back for at least 2 years. I believe it could have been longer, but I know it was at least as long as we lived together. I found out and told the two of them that I never wanted to see them again. My whole family found out for me, and things were explosive for a while. My parents went after my brother, as did my sister, to tell him how crappy what he did was. How could he do it? Asking if he was cruel or just dumb, etc. Eventually things settled, and I think what sparked that was Amy getting pregnant with his kid. I stood firm. I was not interested in having any contact. As far as I was concerned, he was dead, and I didn't care what happened to him, but he was not welcome to be in my life. I was not interested in their kid, etc. My family accepted it at first, but then they realized I would avoid family gatherings where they were present. I would ignore any invitations from my brother to meet his kid or for his wedding, and we would never all be together again. That's when they started telling me how difficult it is never to have us all in the same room and feel me fade away from them. It became even more of an issue when my current girlfriend, Ellie, and I found out that she was pregnant, which was unplanned and unexpected. We've only been together a year, but we're happy. My parents told me it would be nice for the cousins to know each other. I said no. They brought it up again by suggesting that I could ignore my brother and Amy but still be present. I told them I got that it was painful for them, but they needed to learn to accept that their family will never be the same again, and the division will always be there now. I said I didn't want my child to know Amy or my brother, and I didn't care to know their kid either. They were upset but said that they understood. So it was extended family who had been asking about a baby shower for mine and Ellie's child that came for me, saying that I broke my parents and had no right to crush them like that. What if they were dying? Would I refuse to let them have all 3 kids in a room one last time? Am I the idiot? Oh, they expected you to come to their wedding and smile for the family photos? I'm sorry. Did your parents forget who all caused the problem here? It's your brother's fault. It's your decision. Not the idiot. Your brother is. Your brother made this choice and is solely responsible for this, not you. You're not obligated to face your abuser and make other family members happy. That's selfish on their part. As for their ridiculous question, my response would have been to screw off with that guilt trip BS. But again, you were the victim here. They have no right to come at you like this. You didn't crush your parents. Your brother did. And if they have anything to say of it, they need to go at your brother. If it were me, I'd disinvite them for further contact with my family over that. The audacity would make me see red. Cheating is obviously awful at any point in the relationship, but after 10 years of dating and living together with plans for the future, and cheating with OP's brother? I cannot imagine the levels of pain OP's been going through. That's genuinely evil. I wish people would just break up when they're done with the relationship, instead of cheating. I, 30 male, have been engaged to my girlfriend, 29, of 5 years. Today I decided to break off that engagement. When I first met her, she was the most perfect girl I had ever met, but we started arguing a lot over the years. The good times are great, but when we fight, it turns into a nightmare. When we're doing well, I can't even fathom getting into a nasty fight with a sweet girl like her. But as soon as we start fighting, she becomes a different person. She also has anger issues running in her family. Fast forward to today's argument. We were talking late on the phone last night. She's currently back home in a different country for 4 months. And in a moment of bliss, I told her that I would prolong my departure for a business trip to spend an extra couple of days with her when she returns from home for a few weeks. This morning I found out that my company would be willing to pay for a ticket with an extended layover in my brother's location. I haven't seen him and his kids in almost 2 years before my business trip. I work overseas and don't get to go back stateside very regularly. The only thing that I would have to do is to leave a few days earlier than expected to be able to drop by my brother's location. So this morning, I called her to discuss some details, assuming this would be perfectly reasonable. However, this news made her very mad. She said everything I told her last night was BS because I had explicitly mentioned that I would prolong my departure to spend some more time with her when she's back. I told her I knew what I had said, and I apologized. I thought I had calmed her down for a bit by apologizing. However, after she calmed down, she said that the only way she would understand was if I stuck to the words that I had said last night, implying that I would scrap the trip and stay the extra days. Once I heard this, I immediately took this as her making me choose between her or my family. I know that forcing someone to choose between them or their family is a huge red flag, so I won't lie. I got a bit heated up and went on the defensive. I texted her and told her to reconsider making me choose between her or my family, but she insisted that she wasn't making me choose between the two, only that she was asking me to stick to and commit to my words. The exchanges got a bit messy, and I said, let's break off this engagement. I felt confident in my decision when I made it, but now that it's been a few hours, I'm wondering if I should have even made such a decision when I was so angry. I tried to include as many relevant details as possible to paint an accurate, objective picture. Am I the idiot here? You are the idiot. I've read a lot of ultimatums and making someone choose stories, and it does not sound like she was doing that. Instead, you escalated the situation and put words in her mouth. And you also went back on your word. She has every right to be upset about that. You should have consulted with her before changing the plans you made with her. You broke your promise to her. You told her one thing, made her feel special, to the next day having a better offer, and jumped straight on it. If you so badly wanted to see your brother and his kids, you could have done that any time in the 2 years you've not seen them. You only decided to go because it was all of a sudden paid for you. She's not asking you to choose between her and your family. It sounds like you were looking for an out. Exactly. It sounds to me like you just did what you wanted and looked for a way to end the engagement with an excuse. Childish move. If you wanted to end things, you could have done it as an adult. At least then you would be honest. But you did the right thing for her by breaking the engagement. She can do better than you.